Welcome to another Insider Mailbag. I'm Jared Johnson. I'm joined by the Mighty Joe Yeager. Mighty Joe, man, another beautiful day here in West Texas.
Yeah, kind of without the wind today. It's a little bit gusty, but it's not steady gale force like it has been the last few times we've done this.
And the wind picks up right as you say that.
Yeah, sure enough.
All right. Well, you know what? We have some great stuff from y'all as usual, so we're going to dive right into it. All right, the first question comes from Reckham CRV. He asks, what player will Tech pursue in place of recently decommitted Myron Mitchell? Well, the guy to really keep an eye on, in my opinion, is Jaron Woodyard. He's another junior college player who was just recently offered. I think, Tech already knew what was going on with Myron Mitchell, and they decided, to offer Jaron Woodyard here. He's a fast guy. He's a kind of guy who I think will thrive in the slot. Another one of those guys you could plug in there who's good in open space. So I'm excited to see where his recruitment goes. Next question comes from Mid-Raider. The question is, do we think Kingsbury is the main problem right now with Texas Tech's football program? Seems like Tech has a pretty good group of coaches otherwise, or is it the entire staff? What do you think, Buddy Joe?
Well, I mean, in the 5 years that he's been here, he's had a different staff just about every time. There's been a lot of changes in the staff, and the results have pretty much stayed consistent.
Yeah.
So I think basically what it comes down to is it all starts at the top and it ends at the top, and Kingsbury's at the top. So it is his baby, and I mean, even depending on, whether the assistants are good or bad or indifferent, they're still his assistants. He hired them.
Yeah.
So he's responsible from that standpoint as well. So there's no way you can run from it or hide from it. It's his program right now, and he's responsible for the product on the field.
Yeah, I don't think I could really say it any better. I mean, I do like probably his staff better than I have any other time under him. I mean, I like Gibbs. I like what he's doing. Him and Spadville seem like a really solid combo. They've obviously improved things on that side. And then on offensively, I mean, DeLuke, I think he is a good coach. I mean, he hadn't had just like a crazy room to work with, but it seems like whoever they plug in there at running back does at least a pretty good job. Brandon Jones comes in with a lot of high praise, honestly, offensive line was probably the biggest question mark I had coming into the season, and I think he, mixed results, but overall they've done a lot better than I thought. Now, quarterback, which is Kingsbury's position, has been questionable this year, up and down for sure. So, and just recently it's been pretty down, let's be honest. Cobhonies wants to know, how did the people in the Ivory Tower, that's the press box, respond to the pathetic attendance?
Yeah, well, it was duly noted.
Yeah,
I tell you that. It's a source of concern. I mean, if you're not just a strictly objective chronicler of the Texas Tech football program, if you've got a rooting interest, you look at all the empty seats, and that's kind of a barometer of the enthusiasm for the program. If people aren't showing up, then they're not excited about it anymore.
Yeah.
And I mean, if you're taking the viewpoint of the ADs and the brass and all that as well,
yeah.
I mean, if people aren't excited about going to the games, then chances are they're probably not ponying up the thousands and even millions of dollars that are kind of necessary to keep it on a financially competitive footing. So it's a barometer. When you see all those empty seats, and what that barometer is saying right now is not very good.
It was probably the worst possible timing to have that kind of turnout. You had the Goodyear blimp. It was homecoming. Not only that, but it was the ribbon cutting at the SPC. So you had even more people in town, more big time donors in town than usual there to help mark the occasion. And that was by design. It was all set up for Tech to have a big win on Saturday, and really not only did they not win, but it wasn't close. They got beat up. Press noticed, and needless to say, the donors who had just given up donated a lot of money, both for the SPC, the locker room, and other amenities improvements. So not good. Second part of that question is, what attendance numbers make people start worrying? Like, how many, the announced attendance was 57K something, which, come on, maybe they sold that many tickets, I don't know, but I heard you couldn't give away tickets, before the game. this is not a scalper's game to be at, that's for sure. But how many do you think were there? I mean, honestly, how many? Do you think 50 were there? 50,000?
I think it was probably right around 50. Yeah. And in my opinion, if average attendance drops under 50, then everybody is really, really worried. This program has historically, over the last, since the expansion, has been averaging upwards of 55,000, per game. If you're dropping all the way down below 50, you got big problems. So I think that's kind of the number that is the bellwether, or the sort of the, well, I use that word barometer again. I mean, there it is. That's the benchmark right there.
It's a B word for sure, right?
Yep. I can think of another B word that it is.
Oh no. All right, D. Wolvie, this is a good question. I mean, this will never happen, but D. Wolvie wants to know, if Kingsbury asked either one of us, what's the one thing I need to change right now, what would we say to him?
In my opinion, there's nothing that he can change. I mean, what he is as a coach is what he is as a person. I mean, for him to really make the sort of changes that are necessary to really get this program sparked and going in the right direction, it's not just a matter of, changing up his play calling a little bit or restructuring practice or anything like that. I mean, it's who he is, and people, it's his personality. It's what his characteristics are, with his strengths and weaknesses as a person, what he likes and dislikes, his various quirks, his introversion versus extroversion, all that stuff that is so essential to what a human being is. And that sort of thing you cannot change very easily, and you can't change it quick enough, certainly, to make a difference in a football program within a span of a few years. That's the kind of thing that, if it's going to change at all, it's over many, many years or decades. So honestly, I just don't think there's anything he can change. It's what you're seeing is just simply a product of who Cliff Kingsbury is.
Yeah, I hear you on that, and in large part I agree. But the one thing I would say that can be taken away from him, I guess, that hasn't been, his play calling duties. I think it would help him as a head coach. I think you want to ask him, do you want to be a head coach or you want to be a play caller? Now, I know he doesn't want to do that, but I know that's something that has been talked about, and something that honestly probably should have happened, obviously, this season. I think if he does come back next year, I think you'll see that he probably won't be calling the plays next year, in my opinion. But that's just my opinion. You asked for it, so that's my opinion. I think, Holgerson's talked about it. What's the great mullet in Oklahoma State?
Gundy.
Gundy's talked about it. That it's just, now I know Leach still calls his plays, but it's just really difficult to do both. It's two different really parts of the brain as far as play calling, and then trying to recognize in a moment what's going on and kind of have a feel for the game. I think it's a rare breed of a person who I think can do that effectively, consistently. So,
well, Mike Leach is certainly a rare breed of a person, no doubt about it.
Yeah. But we're not going down the Leach rabbit hole here. Y'all do that enough. Lombard 87 asks, if Shim's not in, is it Carter or Duffy?
I think it's probably Carter, for the simple reason is that he's probably considerably more advanced in terms of mastering the offense right now. And it's, he's a JUCO guy. He played a couple of years of JUCO ball. Duffy's right out of high school, and I believe that Kingsbury would feel more comfortable giving him the ball than Duffy right now.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think Duffy's ready. I don't think the maturity's there, to be honest. I'm not saying, obviously he has gotten in trouble off the field, but I think he has a longer way to go than maybe even Kingsbury intimated before. I think it's good that he's back in the program, but I definitely think Carter's your guy if Shimanek isn't. It just kind of goes along with the earlier question, but Recycler wants to know, if you were AD for a day, what would be the one thing you do?
That's a tough question, because only Kirby Hocutt really knows everything that's kind of going on. He's the guy who knows, for instance, what the athletic budget is like. Yeah. He's the guy who knows Cliff Kingsbury's contract inside and out.
See, that's what I would do, is I would delve into what's the real deal with the financial situation, because I honestly don't think we get the real Yeah, now don't get me wrong, I know there's Freedom of Information Act and there's a lot of things that are brought to light, but I think ultimately we don't get the real deal, all the information.
Yeah, that's right. But I think probably, recognizing that what I don't know and therefore I can't make a projection of what I would do. But I think one thing that I probably would do, and he may be doing this already, is I would be conducting a very, very covert head coaching search right now. I mean, it would be really on the lowdown, but I'd be putting out feelers right now, and I would be so secretive about it that I probably wouldn't even use any kind of a middleman or anything like that. The person that I was interested in, I would go directly to him, and if that violates some athletic department's rules about professional tough, I mean, hey, it's a dog eat dog world, so that's probably what I would be doing right now.
So we each get a day. I'll grab my accountant, go through the financials. Yeah. You do the head coaching search, and I'm sure we'll come up with a crazy idea there. Fix everything, all the problems, right?
No doubt about it.
All right. Du Bois and Bush says, has Chris Beard and crew made a concerted effort in beefing up their non-conference schedule to hopefully bolster the RPI come dance time? Well, you got Seton Hall, Madison Square Garden. You have South Carolina, which I know is a Big 12 deal, so I don't know how much control they had on, but you know what I mean. But you got South Carolina there. You got Seton Hall, New York. I mean, Rice is going to be something again this year here. Boston College,
Nevada.
So what do you think?
Yeah, it's better than it has been. Yeah, it is. It's still not a murderer's row by anything, but you know what? The Big 12 is a murderer's row. You don't necessarily want to subject your team to that much of a beatdown. So, I think probably the idea more than anything is the RPI builder is the conference schedule itself. Now, having said that, for that to work out for you, got to win some conference games.
What do you think? 8? You got to win at least 8 to 10 to get into the dance. Probably
to be in the consideration. 10 would definitely get you there. 8's you're in the conversation. I think, depending on various other factors. But that's your real strength builder right there. But ultimately, you got to win a lot of conference games. That stuff in the non-conference, I think, is diagnostic as much as anything else. You're trying to learn as much as about your team as you can without harming it psychologically. And that means playing a mixture of quality competition. Some of it not so good, some of it very good. Just a good mix.
I like that's home and away, neutral. I mean, I like what they've done so far. I agree with you, Joe. And I mean, you need the wins to get up there, because the closer you get to 20, honestly, the better, or over 20, the further you are past 20, the better your chances are. But like Joe said, ultimately, your fate is going to be sealed based on how you do in that murderer's row Big 12. So hopefully they split. If they could split between like the South Carolina, Seton Hall, Boston College, Nevada, and Rice, if you can get 3 of those 5 and win 8 to 10 games in the Big 12, I mean, I think you're feeling pretty good, So.